Welcome to the Kind of Intentional podcast. Life gets full fast, and it's easy to drift from the life that you actually want to build. Each episode, we're going to take on one real-life topic, share honest stories, and pull out practical ideas you can actually use. These episodes are short, they're focused, and they're intentional because your time matters, and so does the life you're building. I'm here with my co-host Danielle, Andrew, and Sean.
Sean, what's up?
How's it going, guys?
Got the full crew of Intentional Focus here today, and we intentionally did not give Sean a last name just so that we could build a little suspense. He's the man behind the camera here. He's like our producer. He's the wizard.
Was it that, or was it because you were afraid you were going to make it plural?
Probably a little bit more of the plural. So, sometimes I have a really hard time with people's last names. So anyway, what are we going to talk about today, Danielle?
We're going to talk about the 4 Fs.
4 Fs. Man, that sounds like a lot of fun. But today we're actually getting into a topic that I really enjoy. It's about prioritization. So this month we're always talking about prioritization. It's a fun way that we work through it. This idea actually came from a concept from Greg McKeown. He wrote a book called Essentialism. It's a great book. He talks about the word priority and that it wasn't a plural word until like the 1600s.
Hold up. I don't think you told us what the 4 Fs stand for.
I was going to get into that.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, I didn't know if you wanted to do that like before, but go ahead.
No,
we're going to build suspense.
We're like legitimately.
You're not going to know.
Quentin Tarantino in this for our episodes. We're going to jump to the end, like the application things, and then we're going to start over. We're going to start how
I love it. Let's do it.
Yeah, this is going to be so fun.
All right, essentialism.
Yeah, so Greg McKeown wrote this book.
It's a great book.
It does not wants us to focus on our priorities, and he said like it's absurd that we actually have multiple things that are our priority versus just the one thing that is the most important. And so that kind of concept started to make me think about these 4 Fs, and I like the alliteration of it, the Fs, and how it works out there. So the 4 Fs are faith, they're our family, they're our fitness, and our finances, and they're in chronological order as to how we think that they're our priorities. So
I love it.
Yeah. And so let's kind of dive into that, and let me back up and actually kind of tell when this kind of started to become a reality. And actually it came from about 2019 timeframe was when this came from. At that point in time, I had this huge goal, financial goal, that I really wanted to build my own house. And so it was just something I had always wanted to do. I thought it was going to be super cool. We had the house plans done. I was working super hard at my job, so that way I could afford to build this house for my family. In that season, it was really, really hard on my marriage. And so I remember there was a drastic fight between my wife and I, where I was gone all the time, working super hard at my job, working super hard to build this new house for us, where I thought I was providing for the family. And unfortunately, what my family really wanted was my presence, my time. They didn't really want that. And so it took me into this season of just like, man, everything feels awkward. Everything feels wrong. And that's actually when I found the book Essentialism, read that book, and started to help me. And that kind of created that framework as to like, okay, like I don't know how to prioritize. Everybody talks about prioritization all the time. Everybody's like, oh, well,
it's like a buzzword, right?
You got your priorities wrong. And
right.
Like, okay, I don't even know what that means. Like, I did like what I felt like was super important today, but I didn't really know what that even really meant until that time. And so I spent a lot of time in reflection as to just saying like, okay, like how does this work? How is this supposed to do it? And so the first F was the faith. And so certainly you tell us like what that means to you as our faith being our number one priority.
Yeah. I mean, like in the visual, like when we see it, faith is the largest, right? And I think that it just comes down to, for me, just what your life purpose is. I do believe that there is, something greater than us. There's a reason that we're here. There's a reason that, I have gifts that you don't have, and you have gifts that I don't have. And, this beautiful way that, we get to live out the purpose of our life, which isn't just to have a good life. It's, to share that with others and to be a positive influence to others. And so I think, that being the main anchor is so important.
Yeah, 100%. And so we've definitely intentionally made, we're intentionally created. There's a lot that goes in there. And I think for a long time, faith and religion were the same word to me. And so religion to me is, we're going to church every single Sunday, we're doing the actions, we're doing the steps that we feel like religion has to be.
Right.
And faith is a very different aspect to me. It's a very different personal relationship.
It's a choice.
It's a choice for sure. And so one of the things that I really started to see in that season was like, I was really religious, and I was going to the church on Sunday mornings. I was going to the small group. I was doing these things, but my faith wasn't as strong as it should be. And most of that's because there wasn't a person personal relationship, reading scripture on a daily basis or doing those things. It was just something that I was going through the motions. And so when I started to think about faith and if that was truly my priority, because I think sometimes it's really easy to think, oh, my faith is a number one priority. But then you start to actually look at your calendar and you're like, well, I show up to Sunday church and I do a couple activities here or there. And maybe if I'm really good, I go to Wednesday night service. But still, like when you look at your entire calendar and 168 hours a week, maybe 3 hours of that might have been consumed in some kind of activity of faith.
Right.
Now, certainly, maybe there's some prayer involved in that. And that was kind of eye opening to me that 168 hours, maybe 3 hours a week, were going to something that I was identifying as something super important to me.
Right.
And so what that did is it just totally shook me. I used to be a night owl, what I would classify as a night owl. And then I realized, like, man, in order for me to actually have that relationship, it was going to have to be the first thing that I did when I woke up.
Right.
And so I made the decision to get up at 5:30 at that time, 5:30 every morning, and just spend intentional time just in reflection and prayer and studying the scripture. And it's been one of the most favorite things that I've ever done before.
Yeah.
Is really anchoring myself on a daily basis inside that just thing that anchors me on a daily basis.
Yeah, that's great.
So next, all right, so we got our faith kind of covered as a priority, and we started to talk about a little bit of what that looks like on a daily basis. What about family?
Oh, your favorite people.
Yeah,
like
for sure.
they're your favorite people on the earth, so of course.
Frustrate you or to
Well,
love on
I
them?
mean, it depends on the day, obviously. If it's Monday, I probably don't like them that much. No, but these are the people that like get who you truly are, right? Like they are your people. And when you think about like what a gift that is to have people next to you and alongside of you that just truly are little second versions of, yourself, little units of you. And so, it's so important for that to be a priority. And I think that everyone wants this to be a priority, but I don't think everyone understands how to make it a priority.
Oh, 100%. And I think, in the context of the simplification that we have here, I mean, we don't touch on friends in this relationship or in this area, but I think family in the best context is those relationships.
No, 100%.
Friends that are truly family. I think sometimes we like the attachment in social media where we have 160 people or 5,000 people that we're connected to, and we feel like they're our friends because that's the terminology that it's used. And unfortunately, they don't know anything about us. But truly, there are people in our lives. I'm super blessed to have some friends that I would almost consider family. I mean, Nick and I, we can share things with each other that are really, really difficult to talk about, and that relationship is part of what I would consider family. It's like not trying to portray yourself or be somebody that you're not. It's having somebody that you can be like, dude, I messed up, or I'm struggling with this. It's about having those honest conversations. But I think sometimes we invest so much of our energy and our time into these other aspects like our careers, our work. We think that our finances are so important that we drain ourselves from 8 to 5, that when we come home, we're exhausted, we're frustrated, we're snapping at the people that mean the most to us. Or we just earn that couch rot, like we've talked about, where we don't want to be present. We just want to just relax our mind. And really, if you think about it in a context, we have our faith first and we have our family second, but now we're prioritizing our work and our energy and what matters the most above our family, right?
Right. That's not even in the F's.
No,
that's not even a 4F. So what are we doing?
I know for sure. So, I mean, it's one of those things, but let's talk about some real practical things. I mean, I think, meals together and family are super important, but I also think in the friendship aspect of those things, having 2 to 3 people that you can really connect with, that you can share really deep conversations with, where you're just vulnerable, you actually talk through those things. I think having those 2 or 3 really detailed relationships are so much more important than having a whole bunch of general connections.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, let's talk about fitness. So we got faith, now we got our family. We're starting to build on these things. We're not saying we're perfect at any of these things.
Now we're getting buff.
Now we're getting just ripped. You can tell that I legitimately work out all the time.
I mean, obviously, like you can't even fit my whole bicep in the picture here.
In the video footage.
I mean, You might need to get a bigger video camera. I'm just saying.
Well, I think one of the things that we confuse with fitness is it's just about just general health and general
Right.
well-being.
Right.
And so I think, sometimes I would love to be buff. I know there's some people that certainly can do those things, but there's an aspect of fitness that can be both mental, it can be physical, it can be just a lot of those different aspects. And so fitness to us is defining a whole lot more things than than the six-pack abs, the huge biceps or anything like that. It's about taking care of the body that we were given. And so some of that is about eating right. Some of it's about exercising and walking and things like that. But it's also about rest. I think
Right.
rest is such an important thing. And most of us run our energy and our batteries until it's the bare bones minimum. And so we're not taking care of our fitness in that context.
When, like you were talking about fitness there, I think that was a perfect example of how these just all kind of go together.
Yeah.
Like you mentioned taking care of the body we were given. Like this is like every day you wake up is a blessing.
Yeah.
Every day that you get up out of bed physically is a blessing. There are people that are bedridden and, all of these things. And so I think it's really neat when you said it like that. It's really neat to see how all of these things flow into each other.
Yeah.
And when you think about, I don't know, I think about this silly sometimes, like, oh, I got to go work out, whatever. But, disciplining your mind and is also really important. And so you have to view it like that. Remember, like mindset's everything,
Right.
kind of thing. You don't have to view it as this other thing you have to do, but it's as this thanks that you're giving for this gift that we have in this life.
Right. Absolutely. So a couple of things that you can do with fitness. I mean, certainly eating healthy is a huge aspect of that. Having consistent sleep patterns. I'm a very rigid person as to when I go to bed, when I wake up. That's been one of the key drivers to a lot of my energy level is having very consistent sleep patterns. It's been one of my favorite things, but I love one of the things that we do for fitness. I actually work out with my wife. I love that time that we get to spend together and just push each other. But more than the actual physical activity of working out is our walks together. And so we set the goal to do 10,000 steps a day. I tried to do it for about 4 years. My wife is fully onto it. She's well over 250 days in a row of doing that. But even though fitness and the activity of walking and the benefits of walking they pale to comparison to us just spending time walking side by side and having those conversations. And so we're kind of stacking that family and that fitness together because we're not making eye contact and we're walking and we're together. We're able to have conversations with each other and we're able to be a little bit more vulnerable. We're able to work through some things because we're physically out in the street, we're walking, we're getting some of that activity, but we're able to talk. And, my wife and I have talked about many a time how I think those nightly walks have been more transformational to our relationship than pretty much anything we've ever done.
Yeah.
And there's physically no cost to doing that.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about finances last. So again, we have faith, we have our family, we've got our fitness, and then we have our finances. And I think this is one of the hardest things because finances can mean so much stuff. And today we're not going to get into the topic of micro versus macro. We're not going to get into spending habits or anything like that. But I think what we think about so often is we prioritize our careers because we feel like we have to have a career, we have to do a certain thing. We get our identity from our career, which is really mostly just because of our finance. Now, some of us have some occupations that we really absolutely adore. We love, get a lot of purpose from those things. We were grateful to be able to work with some really nice nonprofits. And I just get to hear the stories of what they do with their careers on a daily basis. But I think what we're talking about here is we can never bridge that gap where money is more important to provide for our family than actually being there with the family, right? And I think that's where the line here is that we don't want to get so far down in the rabbit hole that we're spending so much more time at work and we're saying, well, I have to work 70 hours a week because I have to be able to afford the things for my family. No, it's much, much more important to be present and active and a participant in our families than it is to try to provide for them financially and overextending ourselves in that regard.
Yeah, it's the investment and a non-financial investment. It's the choosing your family investment over your financial investment.
Yeah. For sure. So, as we kind of close this out, it's really interesting how these things work together. We create a visual that we'll share with anybody that wants to see it. We actually really highly recommend taking the visual, looking at the visual, but then actually spending some real time thinking through each one of those priorities.
And maybe writing things down.
I
think writing things down is so eye-opening.
It just
to see it. I mean, you can say I'm going to prioritize this, but when you see it written down, that's that solid. So taking that visual and really sitting down and writing things down that you want to prioritize.
And so that way you can go back to, you can keep building on it. It's just a great episode or a great exercise to go through.
Right.
So as we close this whole month of this whole month is all going to be about prioritization, which is one of those things. But we wanted to share this. It's a little bit longer of an episode, but we really wanted to share this as the foundation because we're going to keep building upon it with some of the other systems and everything else that we do. But we really felt like this was a grounding thing because ultimately, you know, as we try to produce this content for everybody and we're trying to make an impact, really what we want you to take away from this is it's about like trying to make intentional acts every single day to just get a little bit better.
Mm-hmm. Yep. We're not claiming to have it all together. Not even a little bit, maybe like 5%.
Maybe.
Maybe 10 on some days. I don't know.
Yeah.
But, you know, just trying to be a little bit more intentional every day.
Yeah. So hopefully we'll catch you on the next episode. They're dropping every Tuesday. We'd love to have some comments, what's working for people, what's out there. But again, make every day a little bit better than the previous.
See ya.